Porque diga lo que diga, yo soy libre de pensar, porque siento que es la hora de ganar la libertad. Hasta cuando ya de abusos es el tiempo de cambiar, porque basta de miseria, voy a decir que no.
Porque nace el arco iris después de la tempestad, porque quiero que florezcan mil maneras de pensar, porque sin la dictadura la alegría va a llegar, porque pienso en el futuro, voy a decir que no.
Vamos a decir que no, oh,
Con la fuerza de mi voz.
vamos a decir que no, oh,
Yo lo canto sin temor.
vamos a decir que no, oh,
Todos juntos a triunfar.
vamos a decir que no.
Por la vida y por la paz.
Terminemos con la muerte.
Welcome to Return of Marco Polo. Everybody in the world knows phrases as good weather or bad weather. Especially people at the sea are very familiar to those phrases. And especially us at sea, we are sort of depending on the weather. We are looking at the weather because that is deciding the speed we will have and how comfortable we'll feel aboard the ship. Today we'll be looking at the weather in the South Pacific Ocean. We have been here for the last 8 months. The Pacific Ocean is the largest of the oceans, covering 46% of all ocean surface in the world. Nobody, and we are between everybody here, wants to encounter gales or storms, and that's why we study the weather. The commercial fleets of the different countries do have some special services which are making weather routing for the ships so that they can cross the oceans as quick as possible. Marco Polo is a bit too slow for that because we are staying in the ocean, we're not just crossing it. And that's why we are listening to Arnold Gibbons. Now, who's Arnold Gibbons? Well, Arnold Gibbons is, welcome to the program, first of all. Yeah.
Thank you, Hans.
We are in Rarotonga, in the Cook Islands, and here are you. You are here at Rarotonga. We've been listening to you for many months, and you have been telling us which weather we should expect. And we are very happy to now be able to talk to you, because we would like in this program to give the viewers in Europe a little knowledge about how does the weather in the South Pacific develop, and how do you follow the weather, because you're not a meteorologist of the the ordinary meteorologist. You are actually a ham radio operator, aren't you?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure that all the viewers would know what is ham radio, so maybe you should start, before we go into all the weather business, we should start talking about what is ham radio and what's that?
Well, ham radio is the word ham is a common term denoting the amateur radio. They're people who have got an interest in radio communications and are interested in talking to one another in various parts of the world. Partake in this hobby, which is a hobby, of talking by means of the radio services. And various hams do various things. Some amateurs, they communicate with others and with an endeavour to try and work as many countries and many places as they can throughout the world. These were what we call DXs, or other hams communicate by means of computers, and they have their own form of passing information to one another and pass details of that. Then there are others who just like to talk to one another. We call them rag chewers. Then there are others that make use of communications within the limits of their license to pass information to others. And this is how I come to be and take up the interest of passing weather or becoming interested in the weather systems and imparting this information to the amateur stations that are sailing around the seas.
Yeah. Now, to get all these informations about the weather in the Pacific Ocean, it's a very large ocean, as I said before, and how do you get these informations?
Well, I have, by the good graces of the Weather Service here, I have basically free access to their office, and in their office we obtain the weather bulletins pertaining to the South Pacific. Now, each of the main centres of weather information, and for us it's Fiji and in New Zealand, and behind the scenes is Australia further to the west, and to the north we have Honolulu, Hawaii, and then occasionally the Guam and other stations. But on a daily basis, most of my weather originates from the weather services of Fiji and New Zealand. Mm-hmm. Now of course they communicate with a lot of weather offices around the Pacific, and they have a teleprinting network, and all these stations are linked together, and they prepare these bulletins and to the weather offices, and there I am able to collect them, and I just assemble them, and I just sit down in front of my amateur transmitter and just read them out, and,
yeah.
Because a lot of this information is not provided by the major services, the maritime services. They're available from the weather office, and of course anybody has their public documents, and people can go and read them, but that doesn't help a small boat at sea to go ashore.
Not really.
Not when he's several hundred miles offshore and wants to see
really.
what the latest weather is.
That's right.
So I just basically provide that intervening service. I go ashore for him and read the information that we have available.
Yes. Now the weather here in the South Pacific, well, in Europe we used to say we have 4 seasons: the summer, the winter, the autumn, and the spring. How is it here? What kind of seasons do you have, and what is the significant sort of speciality for each season here?
Well, I suppose we don't really have a spring and an autumn so clearly defined as perhaps you do. We have a summer and a winter. We don't call it summer, we call it our hurricane season.
And this hurricane season, can you predict, or is there any sort of statistics to say that Cook Islands will get so many hurricanes per year, or how is that here in this area?
Not really. There is a scientific activity which has been going on for some years, being conducted by the weather services of Australia and New Zealand. And there is a general weather mass shift which occurs from year to year. They call it an oscillation in the technical terms. And at the present time the oscillation is such that these cyclonic conditions, or hurricanes if you like to call them that, have been further to the west of us, and Fiji, New Zealand has suffered them over the last 2 years. This cycle tends to move in about a 5-yearly movement, so they're expected to start moving into our area. We're in a belt of freedom at the moment, but that doesn't mean to say we don't get them. No. They can still develop and give us quite a lot of strife. They're probably the simplest way to explain it is you have a large circulating air mass north of the equator, and then you have a large air mass in the south. And where these two, in our summer months, the two air masses pick up a lot of energy. The sea temperature rises due to the sun being outside of the equator. Yeah. Sea temperatures rise, and because the sea temperatures rise, there is a large amount of evaporation taking place off the water. And these uprising humid air conditions are then picked up by the large, slow-moving air masses, and then they slowly grind together as air masses.
Yeah.
And because of this, as they grind, they cause little spin-offs to occur, and this is what we call our cyclones. The system becomes a self-supporting air mass. They have severe or fast-rising air currents, and these spread out at the top. You've probably heard of the anvil top thunderstorms. Well, okay, we just got bigger thunderstorms than normal. And then the system spreads out, and then it slowly sinks as it cools, and it rejoins at the sea level again. So then it's in a big circular mass. Hence, you've got the cyclone and the bigger brother to it, the hurricane. And then these things slowly move in the direction of the trade, what we call the steering winds, which then steer them to various parts. So they can travel all over the place. There's no real pattern to them, although we say here in the South Pacific that they generally take a southeasterly or southerly course. No, we're experiencing weather now which is completely out of order.
Yeah. How do you mean out of order? If we look at the map, we have some lows which are dotted on the just under the, it's on the 30s. 30 degrees.
That's right. Well, these lows at this time of the year should be a lot further south.
Yes.
They're running a lot further north, and because normally where they are going, there should be areas of systems of high pressure, and they should be maintaining the easterly trade wind conditions. But because these lows have decided to travel a bit further north for reasons of their own, they have westerly winds in them, and of course most of the boats sort of come here and they're heading west. So they're not going to, and they're working to run with the wind rather than against the wind.
Yeah.
They're having their problems of getting west. What we're looking here is the weather information that's come in from overseas weather reporting services, and they're compiled and based on the various boards here, indicating the various areas of what they are. For instance, these are the storm warning notices out of Guam and Honolulu. We have two tropical storms present in the North Pacific. One is Typhoon Nancy, and the other one is a tropical storm known as Owen. These are up in the Northern Islands, which we will use this information this evening, and also later I have another amateur sked at around in the late hours of the night, which is late afternoon in the north, and we'll relay this information to those vessels up there.
Oh yes.
And here we have the latest marine bulletin from Nandi for the South Pacific.
So it has arrived.
It has arrived, yes. It is here. We go down here now and we look at the weather that's occurred at Rarotonga over the last few hours. This is the wind recorder, wind direction recorder, and the wind speed that has been occurring, and that's the direct readings.
Oh yes.
So we've had southwesterly winds. Mostly it looks like we've had southwesterly winds swinging a wee bit through the last, it was 10 o'clock this morning, it's now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so you're seeing about 8 hours of the last weather in Rarotonga. The wind has been fairly light. It's peaking about 12 or 14 knots, averaging about 8 knots most of the time, as you can see.
Yeah.
It's running about 8 knots, so we've got winds from the southwest at 8 knots present time. And over here is the recording barometer. It's a total records 24 hours. Got one large mark there, so there's yesterday's barometer. As you can see here in the Pacific, the tropical region, we've got that fluctuation is a daily.
That's a daily fluctuation.
That's a diurnal fluctuation. So at present time, the barometer is sitting at 1,012 millibars.
What's going on over here? You see something here now?
Now these are the communications facilities which print all the messages that we saw out there on that clip. And this is part of the international communications network for passing weather and aircraft information around. As you can see, there's a lot of other messages not addressed to us. For instance, there's a gale warning that's just come out for the area south of us. There's southerly winds of 30 to 40 knots within 60 miles of the New Zealand coast. It doesn't worry us, but that's the New Zealand, but they've advised us.
Oh yes.
Also, you have heard me speak of the terminal forecasts that are for the next up to 1200, next 12 hours around the airports of the South Pacific.
Yes.
Fiji, American Samoa, Western Samoa, Tonga and Niue Island.
Yes.
They have their own.
Okay.
So that's
What's happening here now?
Now this is a message coming in from New Zealand. Every 20 minutes they check that the circuit is working, and that's a check, what we call a check message.
We have a quarter of an hour before you will be on air, won't you? So now you are going to sort it out. You'll put it in the.
Some sort of
What?
order.
How do you do?
Well, what we'll do is we'll sort out the coded weather information, which we've got to do next. And we place the bulletins pretty well in the order we're going to use them, so we don't sort of fumble around. The first one will be the North Pacific information. All ready now for.
That's ready.
That's ready for the bulletins later.
Okay, so what you do is you will wipe out this?
Wipe out the last session's information. This is just a bit of methylated spirits and kerosene. And there we're just.
And that's what you're doing every day before you're going on air.
That's right. You clear the chart off. Now what we have here is the coordinates of all the weather systems, and it's put out in a predetermined, it's an international code known as Fleet Code.
Yeah.
It was developed by the British Admiralty many years ago.
Yeah, that's the IAC fleet, isn't it?
Yes, the IAC Fleet Code, yeah. And then from this, the thing is divided, the sheet is divided up into the pressure systems. Then we have frontal systems, and in the isobar section, which is all that, which is the. So what we do, this is known as quadrant 6 in the World Series, and that's quadrant 7 over there.
Yeah.
And that's quadrant 2, and that's quadrant 1. So that's our area of the Pacific Basin. I say I'm not forecasting much more than about 30 hours ahead, because it's starting to cut that
Yeah.
part of the trough off, which will bring your easterlies and southeasterly trades back into that part of the region. Now, then what will happen then is it will probably become associated with this high. This high will weaken, and the wind pattern will slowly develop. Mainly they'll build in from this area here, I would say. Yeah. Okay, we now listen to the frequency.
Yeah. It's clear.
The frequency is clear. That's GMT. Oh, CQ, 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 CQ. This is ZK 1 dB. Zulu Kilo 1 decibel, or 1 Delta Bravo. The name here is Arnold, Alpha Romeo November Oscar Lima Delta. And I'm on the island of Rarotonga in the South Cook Islands. And good afternoon to the Maritime Mobiles monitoring the frequency for weather information this afternoon. This is a voluntary service provided for amateur radio stations who are maritime mobiles cruising the Pacific Basin. The information we pass is intended for their safety and welfare whilst at sea. Now, this information we pass is obtained in the form of bulletins which originate from the weather bureaus of Wellington, New Zealand, Nandi, Fiji, Honolulu, Hawaii, Papeete, Tahiti, and Guam in the Marianas. We now move on to the Typhoon Owen, Oscar Whiskey Echo November, which was Tropical Depression 16W. And in the last 6 hours it has been upgraded from the tropical storm status. At 00 Zulu on the 14th of August, Typhoon Owen is situated at 21.0 north, 152.3 east. That has been moving 025 degrees at 14 knots. And its position is accurate to within 40 miles, and the centre has been located by satellite. Repeating the position, Typhoon Owen, 21.0 north, 152.3 east. There is a series of lows, generally lying along 35 south, and these are connected together by a trough system. There is another frontal and trough system lying north of Pitcairn Island from the northern islands of the Tuamotu group, and that's associated with another old low well out to the southeast, but it is bringing rain areas into the region between Pitcairn and the Tuamotus. We now move a little bit further to the east, and we pass the marine bulletin for French Polynesia. This bulletin is issued from Papeete, Tahiti at 2000 UTC and forecasts for the following 24 hours. There are no marine notices for the area, so Papeete indicates that for the east and west Marquesas, you can expect easterly sector winds at 12 to 16 knots, moderate seas and light cloud. Northeastern Tuamotus are easterlies at 10 to 14 knots, slight seas and light cloud. That completes our final bulletin this afternoon for the Maritime Mobiles at Sea. This is ZK1DB. The name here is Arnold, Alpha Romeo November Oscar Lima Delta. My QTH is the island of Rarotonga in the South Cook Islands. This is a daily service. It is provided voluntarily for the amateur stations as they cruise the Pacific waters. We now take a listen on frequency for any maritime mobiles we wish to make contact. Otherwise, we wish those at sea pleasant sailing. Have a good evening. Okay, we hear no further calls. This is ZK1DB. We complete our activities on the frequency. We will now go QRT and allow somebody else the use of the frequency. This is ZK1DB to you maritime mobiles at sea. Thank you for being with me and have a pleasant evening at sea. ZK1DB is now clear.
Arnold afslutter sin udsendelse, men så kommer et opkald, som er fra en af vores fælles venner. Det er VR6TC. Det er Tom Christian, en af vores bedste venner på Pitcairn Island, hvor vi var tidligere i år. Han kalder op med sine kaldebogstaver VR6TC.
Oh, VR6 Tango Charlie, good evening, Tom. It's a long time no hear. Nice to hear your voice in there. And you're still getting through your bags of mail there, Tom, go.
Oh, yeah. I listen in to you most evenings, especially it's been pretty stormy around here. Yesterday was a beautiful day, it's clear, about 10 hours of sunshine, and today has been very, very stormy. Rain and gusts, about 35 knot gusts, or a little higher at times. And I wish it would soon pass over. And I notice you've got all the good weather out your way now, over.
Yeah, well, we got the good weather, Tom, but it isn't doing the marine stations much good. It's kind of going in the wrong direction for them. But at any rate, I've got several smiling faces around me at the present time. We have the good crew off the return of the Marco Polo in the shack at the present time, and you can probably guess what they're up to there, Tom, go.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with the filming. Good luck with the filming there, Arnold. Thank you very much for putting us on the track of that aircraft also. We appreciate getting that information. I think you talked to Irma and we got the frequency and was able to run things down, so many thanks. Say, there's a little pressure between Pigeon and the Tuamutus. I guess there's nothing really threatening in that. It's going to remain pretty much as this until it passes over. Is that right, over?
Yes, Tom, you've got a cold front moving through the Tuamotus now, and that'll probably move into your area. It's moving eastwards at 15 knots, so I guess you can probably expect to see that in the next 24 to 30 hours there. VR6 Tango Charlie, ZK1DB, we'll let you get on with it, and I'm going to see to my guests here at the present time and let them get on with a bit more of what they want to be doing. Thank you for being with us, Tom. Just stand by a minute. I think Hans wants to say something. It's VR6TC ZK1DB from Hans. He and the crew would love you to pass on their 73s and their greetings, and they're having a nice day here in Rarotonga, QSL.
Oh, thank you, ZK1DB, VR6 Tango Charlie. Thanks a lot, Arnold. I have taken notes on those frequencies. It could be handy to have. And greetings to the Marco Polo boys there also. Say, we have that storm on us. It's been on us nearly all day. The storm has been on us just about all day. Very gusty. Yesterday was a beautiful day. But all day since last night and today has been gusting and raining off and on. And it still is raining. And some of the gusts were pretty strong from the wind has been basically northwest all day, but the gusts were high at times, 35 knots at times. And now it's just starting to pour rain again. So I hope it passes over by tomorrow, and maybe that wind will be coming in from the southwest. Okay, many thanks, Arnold. I know what the boys are up to, and you'll be a film star. So 73, some greetings from Pitcairn. ZK1DB, VR6 Tango Charlie. We'll be monitoring probably tomorrow night again. We monitor most evenings.
Anyway, all the best. Thank you for being there. Nice signal, and as usual, you sound pretty good. VR6TC, ZK1DB 73s, and we'll be clear.
Oh, thanks a lot, Arnold. No problem. I know you're busy, and when the weather looks a little doubtful, I just like to listen in because I reckon you do a tremendous service, and it really is appreciated. 73s, good luck, and good hunting there. VR6 Tango Charlie, clearing with ZK1DB. Bye now.
Bye, Tom. ZK1DB, just listening before going QRT. That's it. Okay.
40 minutes.
Well, that's about how we go. We usually end up doing about 40 minutes.
Okay, and we got Tom Christian on the line.
And you got Tom Christian, so you, there's a bit of a fill in there for you.
Yeah.
That's the world of amateur radio. This is how we all keep contact with one another. You know, there was just us regular friends that say hi to one another. You know, as you heard there tonight, another chap talking on Niue Island, and later on I'll be talking to the Tonga Island, Vavau, in the northern Tonga area, and then up in the Marshall Islands we have a net that we operate later on.
So now we got through it, and you just you'll be on the air again a little later tonight.
That's right.
And then tomorrow in the morning.
I usually assist in the mornings with. They don't take a great deal of time.
No. But, and then and we'll be listening at Marco Polo. We'll be listening for Arnold every day, as long as we are in the South Pacific, and maybe even longer. And so we'll, on behalf of us and many other ships, we'll say thank you for your efforts you're doing to provide us with a lot of details on the weather. That's very good, and I know that not only we, but a lot of people are happy about it. So thank you for that. And then to all the viewers, we've finished the program, been through the half hour, and we haven't got more time, so see you next week. In the coming program we'll talk to the Prime Minister here in the Cook Islands, Mr. Geoffrey Henry. But that'll be in a week from now. See you in a week. Bye-bye.
Con la fuerza de mi voz,
Vamos a decir que no, yo lo canto sin temor. Vamos a decir que no,
todos juntos a triunfar.
vamos a decir que no, por la vida y por la paz.
Terminemos con la muerte, es la hora.